Hello, young scholars. My name is Rhonda Kitchens. I'm your librarian at the William C. Bonatti Library at Big Bend Community College. You may have missed my live presentation. I will try to do my best here to talk about research for your different questions. I want to start you out at bigbend.edu. You could go to My Apps to go to the library, but you can also come to Academics, Academic Resources, and Library. I'm going to go to a specific area. Sometimes when students come, they go to here or here, a bit of the same thing. It seems like that would be where to go for certain types of research, but no, it's really not. If you want a book or an ebook or something like that, or a limited range of databases with not a lot of control about what you get, that's what the library catalog is. It's good for those things, not good for everything like this assignment. Databases A to Z is a listing of all of our databases. There's over 170. I don't want to put you through that. I'm going to show you the class guide. Click on class guides. It's going to be specific to your assignment. Let's go to English 99. I called it occupational research. It kind of came out like that in the end. So what I'm going to start is I'm going to talk to you about, I'm going to have a third thing, sorry, about some search strategies. These are the ones I use. There's lots of them, wildcards, blah, 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 so many. I'm going to talk to you about these because these work for me day after day. So they'll work for you. Then I'm going to use this to break down your research problems and different ways to look at them. So I'll be going here, back and forth, but to kind of give you an idea about how to look for keywords, how to break down your pieces, how to organize your search. If something doesn't work, there's probably something here, here, or here that might work. So let's go further down. So I'm going to add statistics. Somebody asked me about statistics. I don't know if I'll remember to show you, but it'll be underneath PubMed when I finish this. But I'm just going to show you Professional Development Collection. I'm going to show you ProQuest Research Library. I'm going to show you PubMed. That's all I'm going to do today. So, first of all, truncation. That's where you get more research out of a word. Suppose you're using trauma, and that's all you use, but you're missing traumatic, traumatizing, traumas, traumatized. Do you see that? But if all these places pretty much stop at the same place, put an asterisk there. An asterisk is when you shift 8, it's over the 8, shift 8, and you will get this fine little piece called an asterisk. So when you do your search, all these things will come out. This is going to really light up some of these searches. Now, put a phrase in quotes to find that phrase. So if you want to find global warming, you just don't put global warming. You could find global in the top paragraph and warming in the last. If you find them together, you won't get 200,000 search terms. You may get 400 or less of what you actually need. Boolean searching, in a way, you've kind of been doing it all along with Google, but this makes it more intentional, and intentional is effective. So the AND, capital A-N-D, capital O-R, capital N-O-T, actually do work on Google as well. And also you can use them on the databases, and this is the one you probably know the most. So if you were doing something like brain damage and welding, simply brain damage, welding, and you would get where these overlap. Now, if you were doing something where you needed to have all of the things, let's look at burnout and stress. You want burnout, stress, depression, anxiety. You could string them together with or, and I think that's going to show up in one of our searches. Not, there might be something that's coming up that you don't want in there at all. So, in that case, say not. Suppose lots of things are coming up from Russia. Not Russia. Things like that. Or you could put brain damage, welding, brain damage and welding, and United States. There's different ways you could use these. When you see a search that's not working for you, again, one of these will probably clean that up for you. That's why I want to make sure that you do know these. Now, research problems. This is what you guys sent me, and I want to show you how we can use these with these. Students learning values and controlling emotions in early childhood education. Early childhood education could be used as a phrase search to bring things down, because students come in higher education, middle school, and even adult learners and things of that nature. So that would bring it down so you wouldn't get as many hits and maybe something specific. Values, controlling emotions. I was doing my research. There's something called emotional competence, emotional regulation. There's some different words that you could use for this research. Employee. Do you see here that you could use a truncation to get employer and E in the same search? Employees, employers. Just by putting an asterisk right there, you'll get them all. Interactions. This particular thing might work really great in ProQuest 1 or ProQuest. Repetitive motion injuries. What else could that be? Sometimes it's not like the huge idea. Sometimes you can focus on a smaller one, something like carpal tunnel or some of the other things that might be appropriate. Occupational health is one of the things you may look at as well. Safety in public schools. Public schools would be great for a phrase search. You also might want to look at elementary schools or other things. And do you really want public schools? Kind of think about the spaces you want to search. And what is safety? Safety from public health, incursions, things of that nature. That will help you tidy up and build your research. And limited integration of industry. Limited integration, great place to build a quote that will help you out. Actually, I built a search was limited integration phrase and industry and 4.0. It came out pretty good. Technology could be technology as well, so you might want to use a truncation mark. Agriculture, it was a little bit better to search as agribusiness. And the idea of full price inflation might be cost cutting, cost savings, expenses. So work on your words, and we're trying to solve these too. So look for solutions, strategies, and words like that that might bring in your research in a different way if you're not really finding the answers. When you use something like an acronym, see this right here? UV will be a good search. Ultraviolet. Spell out your acronyms and you'll get a different type of search. And you could connect those with an OR, UV or ultraviolet. That searches both of them. Protection might be a word where you break down, but spark welding. Spark welding would be a phrase that you could search. Welding, welding fumes, other things of that nature would also help this one as well. Chemicals, occupational hazards. Welding, also when you're doing your search, these are people. Teachers are humans. Welders, humans. Teaching the action, welding the action. Using those differently will give you different types of search and come out with different kind of formats. Brain damage is kind of a layman's term. It's kind of a broad term, and it doesn't perhaps have any broad use will go in medical and health things. So it's good to kind of figure out what type of brain damage kind of words will come around there. And there's also some things like asthma and other related items that may be an issue in that place. Supply chain disruptions, that is actually a great phrase search. Automotive, automobile, so you might want to use a truncation mark. Supply chain by itself and come up with the idea of what a disruption is. Supply chain management. Management sometimes is a really great word because it talks about how you're trying to, well, manage something, control it, and hopefully have a profitable outcome. So sometimes that one word covers many things. So I'm going to go into professional development collection. This is specifically for people teaching. That's one of the reasons it's here, but it also talks about teaching people in the different areas, and it talks about the larger idea of humans and a teaching environment or a working environment. So it's a professional development collection in that way. Educators, you should totally know about this piece because this is a great little database for you. So I'm going to go into the professional development collection. This is going to be an EBSCOhost database. In our world, EBSCOhost and ProQuest are two of our major databases, vendors. Think of them like Netflix and Prime, something like that. Like they sort of do the same thing. They look different, and they're holders of electronic records. In this case, mostly articles, newspapers, and things of that nature, but some videos appear as well. I'm not going to cover this down here. Most of your work can get done in this fashion. So let's go for teachers. And I got this backwards during the presentation, so this is going to be better. Teacher, I'm going to put an asterisk there, so I get teacher, teachers. And it's trying to give me all these different ideas. It's awesome. And I'm going to go with an emotional regulation. Oh, look, there it is. I could put quotation marks around it. We'll see if that ruins the search or not. I'm going to here. The first thing you do when you get here is search for full text. Change that up. So we have 48 pieces. That is not bad. But you see how this is breaking up? Emotional awareness, emotional regulation. Do we need 48 articles? No, we need the right article. Let's just kind of put this in a phrase. But you see I have other options as well. And children, strategies, etc. Now I have 23 full text ones, and this talks about emotional labor. So why is it not really doing what I want it to do? Let me do the search. Sometimes things do better in different places. They must not have been able to find it in the way they wanted to do it. So I'm just going to keep going. Teachers' emotional competence. Emotional competence is a keyword to use. Teacher burnout. Teacher attitudes, sometimes emotion. Primary school may be one way of saying elementary school. I would take that in. Emotional intelligence, emotion regulation. You see what I did there, right? It doesn't tell you that you've done that. We'll see if this changes it up. All right. Now it works. It does have something that tries to find things when everything's wrong. It doesn't tell you when things are misspelled. Sometimes it doesn't come up with things. So know that these are there. Emotional regulation. Teachers. You can also put in student and students. College teacher. So you might want to make sure you bring it down. Adolescent development, things of this nature, emotional support. So this would be kind of a great search. I'm going to go clear. I'm going to keep my full text. I'm going to put welding because it might be here, and occupational hazards. There's quite a, like public school safety and all those other things should be in this as well. And see, it has nothing. I did spell things correctly. I'm going to put in brain damage. Do you see how it gave me different ideas? Do you see it has a nothing? That is not you. That's not spelling. That means this is the wrong database. When you see this, don't panic. Just go, oh, wrong database. And you go to the next one. And I did give you some words and some ideas of what worked well in those sections. So let's look at ProQuest Research Library. Remember, we have, make sure you select full text. I'm going to put in welding and brain damage. You see the and is here. In this case, I'll use it. I'm very uneven about it. Brain damage. I'm going to put it in quotes. So it searches as. I hit the bar at the wrong time. Sorry about that. But I'm going to keep you here with me so you see what happens when you make mistakes. You see it was pretty unforgiving there. So I have 842 results there in full text. This is what I'd love for you to do here. There's some things, some formats here that are not going to help you out. I would like you to exclude wire feeds. They're repeated. They're Reuters, AP, they're in newspapers over and over. Sometimes they just change the headline. So at some point, you'll feel like you're reading the same thing. I'm getting rid of books because we're going for the articles for their freshness and up-to-dateness. So that'll be probably the best. Let's skip out the dissertations and theses for this particular piece. And reports. Those sound really promising, but here, especially if you're looking into agribusiness, they're like SWOT reports and reports for international countries and things of that. And I don't want you to feel hopeless. I want you to feel like you have control of this process. Newspapers, scholarly articles, trade journals, magazines, oh, those are going to be good. You could also decide to include those. Sorry about that. I'm going to go to apply. I hope it wasn't that loud to you. Whew. So I'm going to apply, and I have 230 results. This is better. So this talks about fume dangers and risks and how to reduce them. Yes! So when you're working on these, you're trying to find a solution, reduce and risk, those are some good keywords too, if those aren't coming up for you. These are in a trade journal. Trade journals are excellent. They're like real people, like the how-to things, like real people on the job doing the things. Scholarly articles are people who actually take a piece of different activities and they measure them and run research against them to come up with ideas. Remember how I said brain damage was kind of a general, regular person sort of terms? Neurotoxicity. That would be something I would add to my keyword packages, and that's going to queue up things like frontiers in neuroscience. That's right. There are scientists out there writing about this issue, and it's going to describe some of the things that happen. So this could be a very rich piece. Let's go down a little bit further. Environmental injustice. I don't think that's going to be good for this one, but it is sort of an environmental and emotional and employment type injustice issue as well, if you want to go in that direction. Researchers, welders may be at risk for brain damage, another trade journal. Systematic review to mitigate. Isn't that nice? It doesn't really cover welding, but mitigate is a word for making something smaller, not as bad, and reining it in. So that might be something that would be useful. But you can see there's quite a few things here that would be quite useful. Click on the title. It's going to take you into the article. Sometimes you'll have an option for a PDF. When you do, take that. Why? Because it has the images and everything. Sometimes there's tables. Sometimes there's this guy with that eye. Who knows what that's about? And let's see, the full text is also here. Let me show you what you can do with that. You can translate it, and you can listen to it using a really bad computer voice. Translate? Yes. You can pick a language to a language, so English to whatever, and it would translate this page. What I like about this is if you love this article, you have this. That's right, you have discovered the Netflix of the databases. That's going to be ProQuest. Welding gone wrong. And it's going to mirror the type of format you're using here. So if this was a scholarly article, these would be, and these are all, sorry, the American Journal of Public Health, National Fisherman, Welding Design and Fabrication, probably a trade journal, and things of that nature. And here, if you'd like to rebuild your search, like, oh, brain injury, inhalation, welding, it might have spark welding down here, all sorts of things, you can rebuild your search. Just like that. This one was not a good idea, but you get the idea. Anyway, welding fume and a quote might be pretty good. So, this is one of the ways. Also, I think I had one of the people in the class about technological integration. I explained that at the front part, and it did really well here. And further, it helped us come up with some keywords like technological adaptation, or adoption rather, adoption, and innovation. Those are great keywords to use when you're trying to figure out how to help people bring on new practices. What kind of psychology and other things are in that avoidance? How can you inspire people to move on to the next thing? Great stuff. ProQuest covers everything to astronomy to zoology. It's rich. As long as you select full text, it's full text. And you can make different choices here with your sources. And I gave you my best package, and I told you why. But you might actually like those things, so do as you will and enjoy this search. So I'm going to go back to this and go to our last piece. ProQuest One Business searches in the same way, but it's very business specific. So if you have something up here, supply chain, inflation, agriculture, use agribusiness by the way, you're going to find things in this that aren't necessarily here. Okay? But it's the same search procedure, so I'm just going to let you use that. Finally, I talked about PubMed, and you might be surprised to know, and this is something outside of the databases, and you can get to it anywhere. You could just Google PubMed, but that is the particular URL. But it also covers, see, I'll just pop into advanced. No, I will not. I like the other way better. It covers things like burnout, stress. It covers welders, welding, things of that nature. So let's go into this and look at burnout and teachers. Oh, and medical personnel. I think I skipped that one. Will it help me if I misspelled something? Maybe. What I really want to make sure you do here is select free full text, free full text. Same thing. So let's give this a look out. It's talking about nursing. Healthcare workers. Oh, look, healthcare workers. That would be a great phrase search. Let's give this a look. So we're going to tap into this. We're going to go here, and the free full text links are over here to the right hand side. So if you click on this, you'll be able to read the full text. And you're really going to want to do that. And this is pretty good. It actually uses 2,000 people. So, and they use a full range of professional profiles. That's pretty good, and it's done by a survey. So if you go into this, you'll see the full text. You have two different options. Here is the site piece. Drop it to MLA. This is a drop-down button. It's probably stuck here, so move it down here. And the rule here is to copy and correct, not necessarily copy and use. I realize here I didn't tell you about that on the other pieces, so let's do that. So copy and correct, ask your professor, instructor, or get the MLA guide from the Writing Center. Let's go into ProQuest. Let's give this a look. So when you're in ProQuest, it's underneath the quotation marks. Go to MLA, and the rule is copy and correct. Let's give a look at EBSCO where we were, but we're going to have to go to something we'll be able to find here in professional development. Maybe just one little article. When you're in these articles, it's going to be on the far right hand side. It says cite, or it looks like a little scribbled on newspaper. And you're going to, this is alphabetic, go here, and you will copy and correct this. So this is 21 minutes, which I know is longer than many of you wanted to spend with me, but guess what? I enjoyed hanging out with you. Also know that on all the pages, I'm going to bring this over. There's Ask a Librarian. You can click on this and ask questions 24/7. I do check it if it's in the middle of the night because it might have been answered in Australia. I am your faculty librarian, Rhonda Kitchens, and you could use this form to write me. So I hope this helps, but if it did not, each of you are going to have a different type of research piece. Reach out to me and I'll see if I can find some of that information for you, or help you find it rather. It's according to what it is. Sometimes I like to kind of look at it to see where it is and then give you a nudge. We'll see. It'll be great working for you. With you. Have a great day.